You're listening to the Devil Dog Talk Show.
This show contains explicit material and is recommended for ages 18 and older for mature audiences only. But hey, it's the internet.
That again?
Yeah, so we just left a tour, so I'm in the vehicle on my way back into San Diego. Is this going to work okay?
Yeah, it sounds perfectly fine. As long as you're comfortable and everything. Like,
Sure.
trust me, I'm laying back. I don't have to drive or nothing. I'm good.
So with your podcast, is it a video podcast or is it just audio that you're going to take from this?
No, just audio. Yeah, I'm not that handsome like
Okay.
you.
I like your beard though, man.
Yeah, it's getting in pretty good. Yeah, the old
Right
lady
on.
doesn't like it too much, but I mean, I love it. I love it a lot.
That's what's important.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're comfortable with yourself, right?
Exactly.
And the old lady don't care too much.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up my notes again. I do want to ask you quick questions as far as history. How long have you been in the cannabis or hemp industry, and what got you into it?
So really since 2012 is when we started Colorado Hemp Company. So it's 7 years now.
Nice, 7 years. So when you started out, would you say that it was a passion project first, or was it something that you saw and you kind of went into it from, I believe I read you went from music industry events, correct? Mainly so, or just music industry?
Well, I had a company called Happy Scratch that was like a one-stop shop. We did CD and DVD manufacturing and packaging. We also did studio coordination. We did events. We did T-shirts, hats, merchandise, music licensing, and artist management. So it's kind of a jack of all trades,
Nice.
master of some. And then I really kind of took a lot of that skill set and then just moved it into the hemp industry. And when we jumped in 2012, it was really yes to get in because I saw the potential of a new industry being born.
Yeah.
And coming to Colorado, we had the medical thing going on, and then we passed Amendment 64 for adult use recreational. And with that came the starting to grow hemp, and then the 2014 Farm Bill came, and then more states jumped on with pilot programs, and here we are in 2019, and hemp is federally legal.
That is so awesome, man. See, that was the biggest thing. And before we get even further, I want to introduce our guest for today is Morris Beegle. And like you heard us kind of talking about his history a little bit and how we're getting into it. If you can't tell, this is going to be a hemp show. It was supposed to be in person, but I wasn't able to make it out because my back was being a dildo, but you know how that goes. So this is Morris Beegle. Morris Beagle's a really, really great advocate for, I would say cannabis in general, but more so hemp from what I could put together on the available websites and whatnot. And I'll let Morris introduce himself a little bit more, like where he's from. Sounds like Colorado and all that good stuff. So yeah, turn it over to you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it, Joy. I am from Colorado, grew up in Loveland, Colorado. Went to school at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, and then I moved to Atlanta for 5 years and went to a place called the Music Business Institute and got in the music industry, and then ended up in California for a while and then back in Colorado and had a music company for 15, 16 years and then jumped to the cannabis space. Yep, I'm an advocate for the whole plant, not just hemp, but the high THC side, the medical and recreational side. I think that it should be legal across the board and people should not go to jail for the plant.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's actually one of the reasons why I was really upset that we couldn't meet in person, because I could kind of put that together. And I was really like, oh man, I'm gonna meet people that think the same, because you were at the event. It was the Hemp History Month or Hemp History Week. I can't really.
It's Hemp History Week, and it's the 10th anniversary.
That's right. The 10th anniversary. And I had the invite. I just couldn't make it because my back went out. And, I called the emergency room and I called and I said, hey, I got this injury. And this is what it's going to be. Is there any way you guys could see me? And they're like, well, no, because it's an old chronic injury. And even if you're in that amount of pain, blah, 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 blah. And so then I sent all my emails to my doctors in the VA, and I talked to my doctors at the VA, the ones that I have contact with. And there's just no way of getting any kind of pain management right now because of the opiate crisis. And a lot of people are very much against opiates, but I'm telling you, when you can't breathe right because you're in so much pain, you got to look for other means. And that's when I went on Weed Maps, and me and my wife were like, I told my wife, can you go pick me up some edibles? And she was like, okay. Like, she doesn't know what to get. She doesn't know, any of this stuff. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm going to try and make it. I got all the way until Thursday. This was last week already. So I've been laid up for a week. And she was like, yeah, I'll go get you some edibles, and hopefully you'll make it down to Hemp History Week and get to meet everybody and have a good time. 'Cause I was really looking forward to it. And then bam, on my bed all week, but thank God for edibles, because I would have gone, I don't know how to explain the pain, and I didn't want to focus on it too much, but I was like, this is perfect because I want to advocate for pain, use for cannabis. I also want to advocate for people that are a little bit timid about that, and I was having a conversation with my wife about opiates. I was on morphine for 4 years and at 120 milligrams a day, which is a lot. And, I had the opiate side symptoms or side effects, constipation, stomach, a lot of night sweats, all those weird stuff. But then I switched over to cannabis, and I'm not telling you it's the same as morphine, by no means, but it took the edge off enough so I can get my ass off my ass, right? Get off my ass, record with Morris today on a nice little show about hemp and his businesses and what he's got going. Also a little bit of Hemp History Week, which is great because it had its 10th anniversary this year, and it was all possible because of cannabis. I'm going to give it to cannabis because I wouldn't have been able to even push record today if it wasn't for that. So again, I'd like to say thank you to Morris for spending some time. And again, we're going to roll back into the interview a little bit more. So I had a question because the name of your hat, I know we can't see, I can see it, but our listeners can't see it. It looks badass. It's got the rock and roll S&W. And it's like right between some Rocky Mountain peaks. That's cool.
So that's Silver Mountain Hemp for our Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars. You did see that we are making hemp guitars, right?
I did.
Guitar cabinet.
Yeah, I was totally stoked about that. And I was like, man, I don't play like I'm not a guitarist, but I am into, music. I grew up around music, was a trombonist and shit. But when I saw that you were doing a whole, like everything's hemp, I was like, no way, dude, this is sick. And so let me pick your brain about that. How did that come about? I mean, clearly you're taking two fields of what you've been through and created, for yourself, music industry, of course, and then now hemp, and now you're merged them together, and I love it. So how did you get about that idea, and where's it going?
So yeah, there was always the intention to see how to marry the music industry with the hemp industry. And when we started Colorado Hemp Company, it was really started as a merchandise company doing t-shirts and hats, which in turn we could do for bands and do for indie labels. And then I got a hemp paper as well that we started doing in 2013. And again, the thought with that is we could do band posters and show posters and limited edition print run stuff. And then we started our hemp events in 2014 with NoCo Hemp Expo. And along with that came an entertainment component with live music and networking and party festival-y type stuff. So there's always been the intent to marry the music to the hemp side of things. And there's a lot of people in the hemp industry and the cannabis industry overall that have come from the music industry. And then there was an opportunity to start working with this company out of Canada who was making some prototype hemp guitars. And we had a year and a half worth of conversation. And I got those guys building me hemp guitars and ukuleles. And I've got another group building me hemp guitar cabinets with hemp cone speakers. And another guy out of Poland making hemp guitar straps for me. And another guy making guitar picks and hemp plastic volume knobs that go to 11.
Nice.
So you can take your passion and have a lot of fun with it.
Dude,
the hemp
is so epic.
It might be a bit novelty, but it also reaches people that might not otherwise have any idea about it.
Yeah, and that's super cool because I mean, I had no clue. that you could make a guitar from hemp. Like none, not whatsoever. And then when I saw the let me see if I can get this. There we go. There we go. That's going to be that's just going to dangle like that. This is probably going to get to be annoying in about 2 it's just, sorry about that, folks. My phone is it's not agreeing with me. And there we go. That should work. And I got to aim it in the right direction or else the internet gets poor connection. Hence the reason why I wanted to really do this in person. So you got hemp knobs that are going to be able to turn to 11. I love that. I'm already looking at my interface going, you're gone, Mr. Regular Knob. Okay, so my biggest next question is, when you do music and events like that, and you want to find out how to, say you're a band or you want to participate in an event, what will we look up in order to get involved in that? Like what website or what connection point will we look for?
Well, the hemp events, if you're looking for hemp events, we have a website called hempevents.org, which has all of our events on there, as well as other events that are in the space that are vetted to some degree, at least. So we work with other promoters and event producers and try to collaborate as much as possible. Try not to step on each other's toes as far as dates and that sort of thing, and try to hopefully have consistent messaging between events. So we're out there saying very similar things about the plant, whether that's to the industry or to the general public.
Nice. That's really awesome. Cause when was it Zoe put me in contact with Jess and I was like, okay, yeah, man, that would be badass to make this Hemp History Week. I was really intrigued because to me, cannabis shouldn't be just looked at as like this, how do you say? I don't like the term pothead, but it just seems like there's this negative perspective of cannabis and hemp given because, you're just not going to do anything with your life, whatever perspective people have. And I'm like, no, like, look at yourself. Okay. You went from the music industry and from the music industry, you were making DVDs, CDs, and everything else that was more physical, which if anybody's paying attention to the history of music and life, everything's switched completely from in your hand CDs and albums to now everything's streamed and before everything was actually, like I would say, even well put together where it's at now. Like with iTunes, it was, people pirating, you got your MP3s, all this different crap. And you take that skill set and then you go and you marry something like hemp plastics, hemp fibers and whatnot. And you guys create a guitar. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking America right there. I don't know. I don't know anywhere else that you could be like, hey man, what are you going to do today? I don't know, man. My fucking career just shifted on me like abruptly. Let me, here we go. Yeah. Fucking, hemp guitars, bud. Yeah, that's going to work. But the coolest thing is that they look cool. You can check them out. The website is
silvermountainhemp.com.
silvermountainhemp.com. And they got some badass gear and equipment. And I was looking through it. But to get back to the event, which was Hemp History Week, I loved like what you're talking about. The narrative isn't, hey guys, let's just chill out. We're high. All right, let's just get super duper high. And I love Snoop Dogg, but it's like, okay, but and what else? What are we doing as far as a movement? What are we doing as far as regulation, policy reform? What are we doing for prison reform? What are we doing for things that have happened and are happening with the culture and communities? And what's progressing with this industrial material? Because that's what we got to look at hemp as, right? It's an industrial material. The history of hemp is extremely, extremely fucking history of itself. We wouldn't be here in America if it wasn't for hemp. There wouldn't be the boat sails that we fucking sailed over on and all that great stuff. But to see it now, where do you see Hemp History Week and your involvement in the next year and then for the next 10 years, since you already made that milestone, which is amazing. And if nobody understands what that means, it's, well, in the industry to have an event that is repeatable and now for 10 years, specifically in anything interesting, if it was a car, if an auto week, right? It's hard to get people to show up. It's hard to keep and maintain events like this, and that you guys pull it off and that you guys are part of it. That's just huge, man. So back to the question, in the next year, where do you see yourselves? And in the next 10 years, where do you see yourself?
Myself or the industry itself?
Both.
Okay, well, I think as an industry, over the course of the next year to 2 years, we're going to see the regulatory framework get put into place, and what the USDA and the FDA says is how we're going to operate. And I mean, that over the course of the next 2 years, we'll see a regulatory framework. I don't think that the fiber and grain side of it, I think that's easy to kind of predict out, that we're going to see a lot more of that stuff. It's not going to be any more regulated than anything else. The cannabinoid market's going to be regulated pretty heavily, and the FDA will definitely put in guidelines for that. So where it ends up, you'll see all these cannabinoid products on shelves of Whole Foods and grocery stores and all that, and there will be limited amounts of CBD that will be, there will be levels that have to be maintained, and there probably won't be hardly any THC. So that framework's coming in the next couple of years. But what we'll see in the next 5 to 10 years is you'll see the development of the grain and fiber markets, where we'll finally be growing enough hemp and processing enough hemp on a scale to impact these big industries from petroleum and cotton and corn and soy, and you'll see a lot of replacement ingredients being created using hemp instead of some of these other, whether that's GMO crops or petroleum-based ingredients, and wood-based ingredients as well, for like paper. And once hemp is on a scale and we've got the processing, and again, that's the 5 to 10 year range, we'll see a big shift in the type of ingredients we're using industrially in this country. So
nice. And that's something that a lot of people don't have eyes on. I feel it seems like I said, I really mean it. Like the future, there's so much potential here. And the fact that you guys have your eyes on it, and that you're that well aware of where things can be going and clearly coming from, I just think that that's a really exciting place to be. Really, really fucking exciting. And then, I mean, think about it. Like, as soon as you even start talking about plastics and what the capabilities are, they got the hempcrete now for housing and stuff like that, insulation type stuff, fibers or materials. That's just literally dope, like legit dope. I mean, cool.
Oh yes, without a doubt.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the first like solar panel, like clear plastic solar panel made from hemp. That'd be like the most epic thing. It's ceiling.
It'll happen.
Probably somebody's gonna listen to that and be like, "Oh shit, we got to get George on the phone. This guy's got a hot one." Nah, that's just a regular old idea. But that would be like the most epic thing to do, is to see where this stuff progresses and get more involved and be more involved. Like you were saying, you have hempevents.org and then silvermountainhemp.com. Now to get a little bit more history about yourself, coming from the music industry and seeing the events that the way there are now, would you say that they're going to get a little bit more open up and lax since they had the first actual, and this is more towards the cannabis use, recreational use event up in, I think it was Oakland, just recently, maybe like a month or so? How do you see that getting involved? Do you think it's going to be more of a scale like how Coors and Bud Light and all those different guys are sponsoring events? Do you think it's going to be more of a privatized, like mom and pops, got a little vending machine somewhere? How do you see events turning?
Well, there will always be events, and I think there will be a variety of different events. You'll have your kind of traditional business conference side of things, and then you'll have more entertainment festival-y type events, which I would say would be, in the recreational space and public consumption, and you'll see big brands as things continue to evolve in the marketplace and things become normalized. You'll see Budweiser and Jack Daniels doing stuff with, the original Jack Hare line of products or whatever other cannabis brands are out there. You'll see the cross-pollination between alcohol, spirits, and cannabis for sure.
I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people are against the fence. You know, a lot of people out there are like, man, you're gonna tell me they're gonna smoke them weeds and get behind the wheel, and you want to infuse it in some alcohols? I mean, yeah, it's like that, but I don't know. For a lot of people, it is kind of scary. I was excited about the hemp beer you guys were gonna have at that event, the party. I was like, man, yeah, I finally get to try this stuff. No, I didn't get to go. But I'm more interested on like what type of products are these people going to turn out? Like, I think it'd be awesome to be able to show up at a bar and be like, yeah, I'd like a Jack Herrera martini or some shit like that. That'd be like badass. And you just sip it like the whole night. I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna be expensive as fuck. You know, you still got to get your margins if you're a bartender guy, right?
Yep.
But the whole environment, I'm like, I wonder what it's gonna look like. Like, I know there's one recreational lounge, I think in LA. I think there was one in San Diego where, you know, you can go enjoy your cannabis. And I'm like, you know, I just don't know if the United States is like that though. Like, people don't even go and lounge at coffee shops anymore. It's just, you know, here's your Starbucks, get the fuck out of here. But it's kind of the same thing. Like in the 90s and the early 2000s, I noticed a lot of, even like in North Park, which was a really cool place down in San Diego, where it was coffee lounges and you could get some food, you can have your coffee, hang out on a nice couch, and it was very Friends-esque looking. But nowadays I'm like, where are we going to go with this? Like, people are going to be lounging around, taking naps and shit. Like, that's what I feel like doing after a nice, you know, big old blunt. But what are people's ideas going to be and where they're going to go? I don't know, man. What in Colorado, what are you guys doing now? Because you guys had a lot longer recreational use as well as medicinal use. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we've had medicinal, I think, since 2001. And then 2009, the dispensary model really started rolling out. And then 2012, we passed recreational, and now we've got dispensaries everywhere. But we still haven't had we've still got a public consumption issue, but that's now starting to be resolved, where there's going to be, you know, consumption clubs and lounges and that sort of thing. But we've been a little bit behind the eight ball in making that happen, but it's starting to happen.
I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a really cool thing to do. Like, you know, instead of going to the bar with your friend, you're like, hey, let's go to rip up some bongs and blunts, guys. Oh yeah, that would be good. Bobby's Bongs and Blunts. Hey guys, welcome to Colorado, Bobby's Bongs and Blunts. We're going to be ingesting marijuanas, all of their marijuanas, and they're going to be delicious. Delicious, delicious. Well, man, I got just a couple more questions for you. And I can see that you got things going on too. So I'll get out of your hair. For Silver Mountain Hemp, is there going to be any other instrumentation, music equipment, things like that? Again, I know I latched onto the knob because I don't play anything really else. But if you guys have more, are you guys looking to create like bass, drums? I mean, you know, live equipment, maybe even like not live equipment, maybe like, you know, like this microphone I'm talking to here, stuff like that? Or is it not on the vision board yet?
That's not on the vision board yet. I mean, mainly it's going to be guitars and then cabinets and then the ukuleles. We'll have a merch line with like t-shirts and hats. So I mean, we've got a t-shirt and hat, obviously, that are made out of hemp. We're looking at instrument cloths too, like guitar cloths to clean the neck and clean the body. That'll be
nice.
Like a hemp little cloth. And, you know, there could be like on the guitar straps, they've got the little plastic pieces that the material go through, and those could be replaced with the hemp plastic. The thing is with those is you got to create molds, and creating molds is expensive, and the hemp plastic situation is pretty expensive. But that's at some point, if the straps are real popular and we can figure out how to get the molds and we can produce enough of them and it's cost effective, then we'll certainly do that.
Nice. That's so awesome. Like, I really think it's going to be an amazing next few years for you guys, especially, and just the industry as a whole. Man, I'm super jazzed to really get my fingers on a guitar. I really want to just see what it feels like. I want to more so hear it. I think you guys had a video, but I didn't have my speakers and monitors up for like I'm telling you, I've been laid out on my back all week.
I was like, I've recorded some tracks with it. So if you go to the Let's Talk Hemp page, which is another one of my websites, letstalkhemp.com, and you go onto the podcast page, there's the intro music that I've got just a SoundCloud version of up there.
Nice. So it's letstalkhemp.com.
Yep, letstalkhemp.com.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. So we had a nice, lovely conversation with Morris Beegle. We got to pick his brain a little bit about the hemp industry and Hemp History Week, as well as several Silver Mountain Hemp Company. They're producing awesome music equipment and accessories. It sounds like they're going to be doing a lot more. And of course, you know, coming out of Colorado, you guys got a lot of great things going on. I really loved my visit to Denver and Lone Tree, as well as my visit to Eagle Point and Vail a few years ago. And you guys just got to keep on doing what you're doing. I really love the products. I love the logo. Like, yeah. And I wish they could see it. They're gonna be like, "What are you doing? Are you guys doing anything? Is he even still on the phone?" Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for your time, and again, thank you to Jessica and Zoe so much for hooking us up. And again, I can't apologize more for not being able to go. I really, really wanted to go, but the next one for sure. And I'd love to have you back on to go a little bit further in details about Silver Mountain Hemp Company and just the science behind it. Sure. I mean, I'm a geek. Yeah, I'm a geek. So I really like talking about sciencey crap. And I mean, you can tell by my vocabulary right there, but I'm very much enthused about what you guys have going on. And again, thank you for your time.
Hey, I appreciate it. Love to be back on again. Where are you based out of?
So we're actually out of San Diego, California. I live in Valley Center, right next to Harris, SoCal.
Okay.
So that's where I'm based out of currently because I'm laid up.
Yeah. So next time I come out here, we'll definitely hook up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Morris. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Thanks, man. See ya.